Hello, everybody. Make sure everybody can see me. Oh, I cleared out all my cache, so all my filled in forms disappeared. It took me forever just to type all that back in to get in here today. So hang with me 1 second. I got to get my PowerPoint open. Hold on 1 second here, guys. Da, da, da. All right, I'll open it up. If anybody has any questions about anything you want to share, anything you'd like to get out of today when you're thinking about marketing, what do you want to get out of today? What questions do you have? Go ahead. If somebody has something, go ahead.
Sorry, I just entered. Sorry. Hi, Brad.
Hey, how are you? We're on elements number 2, marketing. Okay, got it coming up. Have you put a lot of thought into marketing, how you're marketing your business, what's working, what's not working, or are you just kind of still flying by the seat of your pants, or where are you coming from in the marketing division? You guys, are you doing any marketing for business? Is anybody doing anything particular?
I'm doing social media.
Social media. What are you doing on social media?
I'm actually posting a lot of informative information, like just basically guiding buyers on what they should focus on and what not to do. And so I've been getting a lot of feedback, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything particular working, or have you grabbed any active business from it yet, or is it just building the name and the topics?
Right now, yes, building the name and topics, but I do have been getting a lot of messaging interests, and I've been kind of going through there, but nothing yet. But my leads, I mean not leads, but my growing audience is up to like 650 right now, and I started with nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not getting a lot of likes. I might get like maybe five, sometimes 15, sometimes 25, and sometimes even three. But I'm getting a lot of messaging, private messages of interest.
So now, can you imagine, just for a second, if you grab your master list notebook out and those 600 people, you just take 1 hour and pull the list up and write all 600 names in your notebook, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And then go in and see if you can find, now the research side of it pulls up, because right now we just got them on Facebook and through Messenger. But if we can blend in the offline world with that little world, and we can have a phone number to call them and go, hey, I saw you love that last post, thank you so much. They're not going to sit there and go, most people will not just go, what are you, creeping on me? You follow me around, call it. I mean, hopefully you kind of communicate with them a little bit online when you start recognizing their name, which is why we say write it in the notebook. And you find, by the time you find an address and a phone number, I mean, it's crossing over. I'm telling you, the online world, a lot of the groups that I'm in where we're online all the time, when we show up in each other's cities and we call each other and say, guess where I'm in St. Louis, are you available for a coffee? And we get to meet. It's like so cool. Everybody loves it. And everybody, I mean, because you're a nice person, you're in the community, and you're there, you're building that brand to be the go-to person. So when you can move it into the real world and blend the two worlds, you're going to have an amazing business. 600 people right there that can give you an on-purpose way to find phone number and address to start moving that over. Does that make sense? Because then you could even
Yes.
drop, I mean, if you can write the note, you could drop them a note and say thanks for your comment or
Well,
whatever.
I
But
have been I have been the few that I've been communicating with. I've already added them on my on my on command, and kind of just staying in contact with them. And
yeah,
yeah.
well, and again, the master list, the reason why I say that is because if you looked right now, I mean, if you took that whole list of everybody who's communicating with you, even the ones that have always either liked or responded at some time, and you made a list of all those, and then you go into command, I'm going to bet over 80% of them are not even in command yet. And they are people that liked or communicated or had a two-way conversation. That's just my guess. think it'd be a pretty safe guess? So this is about really getting the connect. When we say connecting in a relationship world, it is about the two-way conversation, meeting them, talking to them. And two-way conversations are happening in text and virtual, but I'm telling you, there's something about the human mind and human brain that, and the human heart, that when we meet as neighbors, it changes. It changes. So that's when you're going to become more top of mind, and they're going to think of you. If the word real estate pops in their mind any time of the day, they're going to think of you and go, oh, I know exactly who you need to call. That's the big difference. So today we are kind of talking about tracking that marketing and is it working and some other stuff. So that'll be a great conversation to start putting as a filter on your social media, and how you can now turn that into a real true lead generation machine. I mean, it's great to provide topics and provide conversation and provide, good information. However, I mean, if there's 600 people there, 600 of them or 60 of them are moving in the next 12 months. And the social media by itself probably will not generate 60 sales. It might generate a few, might generate 5 or 10, but there's going to be 60 to 120 of those 600 people are moving in the next 12 months. And that's where most of it gets missed. Anybody else doing any other type of marketing to find business? Or you're trying something and it's not working right? There could be a little tweak that we might be able to add to it to get a little better result. Are y'all just kind of figuring it out and letting it happen, trying to get that phone to ring, or seeing if, I mean, what are you guys doing for business? Are you cold calling FSBOs, expireds, and it's okay to say I'm probably not doing, if anything, enough to get business. I'm still trying to figure it out. I mean, that's okay too, because then we can give you some tangible things to really start doing, like to get into business. By being here today, I want you to get into business. All right, keep up that social media, because that is a magnet that is building that list for you. And I'm telling you, when you move them into command and mix up the mediums, that's when the magic's going to start happening. You definitely want to get them past that just virtual communication, though. Let them hear your voice. You guys are awesome, and people like talking to people, even though you think they may be techie. Anything else before we start here? I mean, is that good so far? I'm not
Everyone's so quiet today.
What's that? Yeah, it's quiet. I just want to make sure I'm not scaring everybody. Like, I don't know, is there something in my teeth, or am I scaring you guys? We're just having fun here. I want to see you guys make it big. I'm with you 100%.
Hey, Brad, I'm listening.
Yeah.
In my case, it's just I haven't done 80.
Oh, we lost you, Cindy. I think it was Cindy that was talking.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm listening. I'm doing social media as well, Facebook mainly, but my nephew's here, so can't really unmute. He's a little loud.
Gotcha. And Elizabeth, did you have something to jump in and add?
I'm not doing anything at all. I just I'm trying to make sure that I know exactly what I'm doing, and I think that's one of the I don't know, drunk monkeys, like excuses. Yeah. I do have a Facebook page, and I have my Instagram account, but I'm not marketing. I mean, I post something occasionally here and there, but I'm not marketing. Like, it's just like basically I created a business page, and now what? Like, I really don't have any consistency. I don't really have a method behind it. And this is really why this class is so important to me today. I really need all the help I can get.
Gotcha. Well, I'm here with you to partner up with you to do that. So anytime you feel like you're struggling, you text me, you email me, we'll start a conversation, we'll get on the phone, we'll talk. I mean, you guys can take advantage of me way outside of just this call. So I'm putting my cell phone number in there and my email. So anytime you're doing something, you feel like you're struggling or you're not doing it right or something, I'm not saying I always have the answers, but at least whatever you're doing, I can help you figure out how to get past that little brick wall that's stopping you or not figuring it out. And I hope everybody heard what she shared, that is trying to figure everything out. And that is, I mean, all this stuff has been covered and studied by Gary Keller. He's already told us this is what we were going to do. And he's already written the book that told us how to correct it and do it right to get into production faster. And it's like, we want to get ready, we want to aim, we want to get ready and aim, and then we'll fire, right? And what Gary says is just get ready and fire, and then start aiming. Because after you're firing a couple times, you can just adjust, and you're going to end up hitting the bullseye faster than trying to get it right the first time, right? So it's ready, fire, aim is really the mode you want to go into business. And in real estate, see what I figured out, and I hope you guys can connect the dots, that by creating this master list and finding the phone numbers and the addresses of everybody you were already friends with and everybody that's in your phone, and I tell you on the first conversation, just connect, don't talk about real estate. Well, what I did was I just gave you a free pass to go ahead and start selling real estate now without selling real estate, because it's going to take 4, 5, 6 connections over a 4, 5, 6 month period, or a 4, 5, 6 year period. So you start now while you don't know anything, so that you have to just talk about what's going on, what's happening in your world, and connect. And then you have to write a note that doesn't talk about real estate, because you don't know all that stuff yet. So, and as you get your first deal and your second deal, by the time you get your third or fourth or fifth deal, you will start feeling a little more comfortable about actually somebody saying, yeah, come list my house now. But you won't even feel that for the first 5 or 6 sales. So just keep in mind that if you are in a position in your business where you're trying to figure it out, you're not really on the phone talking to people and you don't even have to talk about real estate. If you are talking about real estate, that's fine. I mean, because that's fine in the next deal, but you don't have to talk about real estate. Just talk to people every day, 5 a day, and write those 5 notes a day, put them in command and put them on a drip, because that will be building up so that you can really launch your business way quicker, versus get one in a month or 2. And then that takes a little time to figure out everything you had to do, and you figure it out. There's nothing wrong with that, but that's just human nature. We are uncomfortable not knowing answers. And you don't need to know them all. 20 years of selling real estate. I've found out some stuff this week that in 30 years I didn't know. And so it's an always changing business. So thank you for sharing that, though. So today, when we talk about this lead generating for buyers and sellers and marketing seller listings, those are the kind of marketing things that we're going to be talking about. But here, I'm going to give you the big bomb diggity, like right now, right out of the chute. And that is, when you're looking at this lead generation stuff, and put it through the filter of, if you're doing social media or whatever you're doing, right? That marketing is the lead generation effort that is a passive and a money intensive. Remember when we said marketing is money intensive if you're paying for it. But if you're prospecting, then that's more time intensive. Whatever marketing you're working on, I said something jokingly about having something in my tooth, and I think I got something there. Sorry, guys. Whatever you're doing, I want you to take the next level of it. And it doesn't have to be everything. However, it needs to be in some of your stuff that you're doing. There's got to be a reason to capture them, for them to give you their information, more than just a like, more than just a comment. But what is your marketing doing to get them to click a button from curiosity, which would take them to your command, where they would fill in their name and their address and their phone number, or an email, or part of, any part of that information, but they get into command and a follow-up plan starts automatically. Where the best way I can explain is, like, what is it that you can absolutely measure, that they downloaded your app, they logged in, your app tells you when they go there, as often as they do it, and just do something on the app, whether it's plug in their neighborhood or do a search for a house. So you capture their information, because we can throw a lot of stuff out there, and if we forget the call to action piece, then we're really not lead generating. We're spending a lot of time or a lot of money for this passive coming back in, waiting for them to call, and we don't even have the call to action in there. So one of the things that you want to do is look at everything you're doing and have something of value or a teaser. And this was probably the hardest part for a lot of people to figure out, is we want to give them enough valuable information when in actuality, you want to give them a teaser piece of the information where the real information is sitting with more information, but it gets them to click. Like, for example, the 7 things that you can do to your house to increase the value of it, right? Rather than tell them what the 7 things are, the first one is like the most powerful one. To get the other 6, click here for the free report. And when they click it, they got to put their email in so they can get the report. That is probably the most valuable thing I can tell you about the marketing side of today's conversation, is you have to capture them, or else they're just not going to, you're not going to be top of mind enough that they're just going to remember to call you, right? So again, when you're doing any of that marketing, when you're in there, start thinking about, is there any reason for me to for them to give me their information or get them in command? So, and that's going to be the other thing. And just kind of start this out and help you guys understand what getting them into command looks like, or clicking something to fill in their information. This is an actual exercise that I want you guys to do. It's huge. So Google your name, Google your team name, Google something about you in real estate, do your searches a couple different ways and have you pop up. The best way is just put in your name and realtor and have all the websites pop up that pop up. So your name, realtor, or your name in the city, or your name and Keller Williams, those would be 3 searches, right? See what pops up in the links. Click on the links and see what look at it through the consumer's eyes. What are they seeing when they land on one of these sites? They may not be putting that search in, but if they landed on one of these sites, if there's any button on there at all that says more information, or to share it, or to ask a question, or to, ask a question about a property, it could be a listing that pops up, a listing site. Go to every single site you can find that pulls up with your name and your information that you've put together. Click the button as you were a consumer and see where it goes. Like, actually keep track. This is a very important exercise, because you're going to find out that 90-something%, almost every site that you click on may not even be coming back to you. So if you have a listing and it's on realtor.com and your name pops up as, this featured listing is featured, and you click the button, don't you want to know where that lead, what did it come into command? I mean, I kind of need to know where it comes in at. Does it come in an email? Does it come on my phone as a text message? And you might find out that it doesn't even come to you. It goes to another agent who was paying for a banner ad through realtor.com. It's scary stuff. So it's important to know where your leads are going when people are clicking on them, and how you're capturing them so you know what to look for. Guys, a lead or anybody clicking is like a gold bar. And if we can get them on the phone in a 2-way conversation, we know through the 8x8 branding ourselves, that for every 12 of those people we capture, we're going to get 2 pieces of business. If you just kind of let it happen, you're going to be lucky to get 1 out of 50. So there's a big difference from the same exact thing, just by being on purpose about what we're talking about here today. So hopefully hopefully you guys are kind of like jaw dropping, falling out of your chair, because that is such a huge piece. It's critical that might show up on the survey at the end going, oh my gosh, that one piece alone was probably worth it. It's that major. So just do that. Google, find out how many sites you're on. If you don't come up at all when you put your name in realtor, there's the next thing you need to figure out. All right, I need to take an hour and go into my KW site, and I got to get some pages set up, get my website set up. Where's my app? How do I get my app to give to other people? Well, how do I get them to download it? All that stuff. So you can start getting that stuff out there, because that's the funnel that captures them and puts them into command. Your app will do that, and all that stuff will do that. So and if you don't know how to get people into command, once you figure out where the leads are coming into, because you put your own name in, right? And you could even put like the word test behind your first name. So like I always do Brad test and Korn test. So it always comes in and I can see it, Brad test, Korn test, or like Brad test, Korn, RCOM. So I was on realtor.com when I filled out that form. Brad Test, Kornzillo, right? And that I just make that my last name, Kornzillo. And so that whenever it comes in and I see Zillow, then I know that that one came from the Zillow site. So there's a very strategic way to figure this stuff out. And once you figure that out, so once you figure out where your site is that you can search for a property, or it says, I want to buy a house or I want to sell a house, and you've clicked on that, you've put yourself in and you know it goes into command, now that's your funnel. And now, so like, here's the next wave of thinking. Stop thinking of tell the consumer to go to your site and fill out the form. Why don't you just have your site open all day long and you fill in people's full name and address and information when you call them out of your master list and you get them on the phone? You've got your website popped up, you know that goes to command and it starts to drip right away. You don't tell them to go there and do it. You just do it while you're talking to them. It's like, well, I look forward to keeping in touch with you. You're filling out your website with their information and it's captured and it's going into command. And ultimately, those smart plans will just automatically start if they come in from this website. That's why you have to do this Google thing first. So you can see where it came in, how you were tagged inside the system. So you can tell the system, if it comes in with one of these tags, I want it to start this smart plan every single time. And then you just use that as your funnel to get them into the website. How many people are just like, was that good information or am I too high level yet? Did it just blow right over you? Because it's huge. I want to make sure somebody got something out of that.
I love it. I actually was planning on setting up a meeting with my market center IT person so that he can help me actually have some kind of form in my website, because right now it's just plain like the bare one that I get the basic. So that, because I know that people are visiting my site, but there's no hook, there's nothing plugging them in, like not even a calculator to help them, something to entice them to stay there a little longer and navigate through it, and then have it linked with commands so that I can get their information.
Yeah. Or let's not wait for them to do it and hope that our information gets them to do it. Why don't we just call them on the phone, connect with them and do it ourselves? Right.
I just don't know how to do that myself. Like I only know of the people who have told me. So I guess that's what I need. Like I need a little bit like learning to navigate through the settings so that I know how to gather that data myself.
Yeah, well, and if your tech person helps you set up a couple of forms, you just need to know the URL address where that form is sitting.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, here's how my brain works. It's like, because I know the next time that I get a buyer and it's like, oh man, where's my form at? And I spend 10 minutes looking for where my form is in there. I just send myself an email that says new buyer link and paste the URL in an email and send it back to myself. Because in your email, you can just search for topics, right? You can just type in new buyer. It's going to pull up all the emails that said something about new buyer in there. And one of those says new buyer link for my database. That's what the subject line is. So I click that, there's the link, I click it, the form opens up and I just add them in. And then I actually kind of leave that form open for the day and add my new people in throughout the day that I'm connecting with. So
that's priceless. Thank you.
Yeah. And it's just systematizing it so that you can process it faster. And yeah, so, and the other thing is too, though, now we're getting to the real nitty gritty that you got to get on the phone and talk to people. So, because if you're waiting for them to do it out there and come back, you're going to get 10, 20, 30, maybe 10 or 20 out of 1,000 people to do something. So even though people say, oh, they're opening up and I've got the click open thing and I can track it and all that stuff, it's like, great, let's take the list of everybody who's gotten the newsletter from you. Let's take the list of who clicked and opened it. And then let's take that list and let's see how many of those people are in your database and how many of those people that clicked and opened it have bought a house from you in the last 12 months or 24 months or 36 months. Non-existent. You got to get them out of there into the real world so that they're calling you for advice. They don't just decide, oh, that was a great newsletter, I think I'm going to call that agent to list my house. They're not even thinking of you top of mind. They're reading and they're not even, we don't even know for sure what they're reading. So sometimes when people say that, like we have a Keller Williams magazine, a home magazine in command, full-blown detailed magazine that can go out to people. That, by the way, is worth putting some time on your calendar, and just put the word on, to work on your business, to go in for 1 hour, turn your phone off, mute it, turn on an egg timer for 1 hour, and go in there and play and go, where the heck is that magazine that he was talking about? Go in there and find that thing. And it might take you an hour today to where you just barely even got into the marketing materials, and the phone's ringing now, and now your hour's up and the timer dings. Go do your lead generation, right? Come back the next day or the day after and do another hour of working on your business. Go back in, you'll get back to your spot. If you're doing it all right away, right? Doing 3 hours a week on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday for 1 hour, you work on your business. That's where you're going to find those pages. That's where you're going to find the magazines. So you don't need to figure it out in an hour. You just need to get further along in a couple more steps of finding it. And then the next time you do it, you get a couple more steps, and then you get another couple steps. You might have 10 hours invested in just figuring out how to set up your web page. But if you were on purpose about it and you never just let it happen randomly, you're going to get it done faster. So yeah, definitely take advantage of your tech people on that. If you have any specific questions on forms. Oh, the last thing I was going to say about forms, when you do figure out how to create custom forms, you can create multiple custom forms. And not that they look any different, but this form is going to be for a new buyer lead that I have not connected with yet. So the lead came in on a website. If I had that form open, I sent them an email. If they gave me the phone number, if an internet lead has a phone number, I pick up the phone and call just instantly. There's not even a thought like, well, it came in off the internet, so I'm sending an email back. No, I send an email back that says, I'm calling you right now. I saw you were on a website, and I pick up the phone and call them. The phone call is that important. I even text them and say, I'm getting ready to call you. This is the real estate agent. And then I call and let it go to the voicemail, or they might pick up, right? Whatever it is, that most people, when things come in off the internet, they don't call, and the phone number's right there. It just blows me away, but that's what I track as a coach. And it's amazing how many people don't call. So getting them called, I might have a form that says right there, didn't connect with them, went to voicemail, sent them an email, they haven't responded to anything. So I'm going to go ahead and put their information in, because I know this goes to command, right? And on the techie side, don't worry about figuring this out yet. Just understand the concept that when I use this form for not connected, that it's going to start, say, like on a 12 touch. Right? There's no phone call, there's no handwritten note, there's none of that. They're an invisible person at this moment. So I'm going to put them on a 12 touch something or other that just keeps my logo and my name in front of them. And maybe 1% of them will call me back at some point. Remember, the 99% of the people aren't moving right now. And internet lead conversion, maybe 1, 2, or 3% actually close business. That's why they say the cost of a lead, when people are spending money on all these leads that are coming off websites, is still like 50 cents, 75 cents, because whatever the cheap thing is that generates 1,000 leads, what they're paying for that, they have to divide it by the ones that actually get captured. So the cost of the lead of getting it closed is 50 cents or $1. I mean, I've heard as high as $5. And sometimes in our business brain, when you're in a class like that and you hear even $50, it's like, well, you're going to make a $5,000 commission check. So if you're paying $50 for the leads that actually turn into real closed business, that there kind of shows you how many leads came in and a small percentage actually turn into closed business. When in actuality, if I took those that I haven't met and I get them into a system that just keeps in front of them, and part of that plan is to maybe have a call every day for the next 5 days to see if I can get them on the phone. And I'm only telling you this because I've tracked it from agent after agent after agent. When we switch their mindset to the phone is the moneymaker. And it is the difference between the 12 to 2 and the 50 to 1. And if you just focus on every single lead, I have got to get them on the phone. I got to have a two-way conversation with them. Otherwise, they're just going to be a 1%er. They are always going to be a 1%er. So I got to get them on the phone to get them onto the 8x8 to get the 12 to 2 return, which is why the business grows faster, right? So that lead, if it came in from that form, it kicks into a smart plan that actually pops their name back on my task list every day for 5 days to call them. And then you know what you do? Every day you see their name with that phone number, you call them, you dial the number. Tomorrow you're like, I just dialed that number yesterday. And as soon as you start feeling that way, you just realize why you realize the main reason why it was so important to get off the regular realtor bus. Because as soon as it starts feeling weird, you just wouldn't have made the call on the other world. So in this world, we just do what the system says to do. And our goal is that we're going to convert more closed business. Now, I can create a second form that I actually got them on the phone and connected with them. So when they come in from this form, the smart plan, the 8x8 smart plan starts, which the very first thing in that plan says, hey, did you send them a note? Oh, dang, I didn't send them a note. Right. So now I got to look and go, oh, I didn't have their address. I was so excited to get them on the phone. I forgot to ask them for their address, or look it up or whatever. Then you go to Facebook, FaceTime, or not FaceTime, fastpeoplesearch.com or Google or Facebook and see where they live. And you do this research piece to add their address to their address and their phone number to the list. That's when you can update it and get them on the right plan. So if I'm missing, like really the truly connected ones that start an 8x8 plan, you should be putting, your form should say address, phone number, and maybe email. I don't, like I said, I don't even care about email. And I'm going to tell you that to the end of time, because email is not closing business. So as long as you keep hanging on to the email, you're not getting the address and the phone number, and you're starting real estate programs to close business that are never going to close that much business. And you will be on the hamster wheel forever. If anybody else had figured out how to do it with just an email, I would have already done it. I'd be there and I'd be sharing that with you, but I've done them all. I've taken over lists. I've done everything. There is no magic email headline that gets 10 people to call me and list their house. You just fade off and you do your normal 10, 12 deals a year forever, right? Or maybe you get to 20 or 30, but I mean, I'm telling you, if you're closing 30 deals, 40 deals a year from just emails, internet leads, you're getting thousands of leads coming into your business. You have to, I've never seen any numbers that tell me a different story. So now we're going to move to the next phase of what we're talking about. Is there any questions about any of that? Because I don't want to miss that part. It's huge, absolutely huge. Because now when we start thinking deeply about the marketing, and this is kind of where we start getting on purpose about this. So when we're putting those Facebook ads out there or whatever marketing you're doing, who is it targeting, rather than just throw it out there? And it may hit a lot of different groups here, but the important thing to figure out is when you went through this prospecting list. Remember what we just talked about the last session. We have this list here, and then you prioritize it, and then you pick the ones that you would actually do, the 5 or 10 that you would actually want to work on. Those 5 or 10, whatever it is, you want your marketing messages to be around those things. So it might still hit the whole group, but you want a targeted message straight to circle prospecting about neighborhood activity, or about apartment complexes, or teaching and speaking opportunities, or any of this stuff. When you look at the different things of where it's coming from and what group you're going to, you want to really think deeply about what is the headline that's going to grab their attention. And now I hope you're thinking, well, crud, do I even have call to action in everything I do? Right? It's okay to maybe throw one out there every once in a while that's not a real true marketing piece, that's not a call to action. However, everything that I've been talking about, creating this list, making calls, don't talk about real estate, don't use a branded card on the first card. Guys, we sell real estate. The only way we get paid is listing and selling a house. So eventually we do need to talk about real estate, right? I'm just kind of giving the free rein to get the conversation started so you can move out of the digital world and move them into the real world. Let me pause out. Does anybody have any questions or anything? Want clarity on anything else? Is this good information? Man, I hope you guys are like, okay, I don't even know if top agents talk about this stuff, because this is what the groups I hang out with do. And there are a lot of training sessions and webinars and a lot of stuff out there that can just give you the flyover and get you excited about doing Facebook banner ads. Well, the way you're going to close more deals, like it all gets all the way down to the commission check going in your bank account, is how I decide if it's a good program or not. If somebody has a Facebook program that's going to generate 40 listing appointments a month, and I list 40 or 30 houses, I'm signing up. If you know about it, let me know. If it's going to be every single month, I'm going to list 30 homes, I'm going to do that program. Most of them can generate 40 leads that never lead to a connection, and you get 1 or 2 deals randomly out of it. And for some reason, it doesn't work like the person made it sound on stage. So, and the other thing is too, a lot of those times when I see all these different things out there, that you got to be careful who you're learning it from, because the first thing I would do is if they had 40 something a month from Facebook banners, I would be on the phone with them going, so you are literally closing 440 houses a year. And usually they can't answer that. So no, we did 120. Okay, so they did 40 in a month, and then it didn't do it the next month. Well, if I'd figured out how to do 40 from Facebook banner ads in 1 month, I would have done it again the second month and the third month and the fourth month, which means I would have done 440 deals. There's not very many people in the industry selling more than 500 homes a year. There's more now than ever before, and most of them are Keller Williams, because of those high-level conversations we're having at family reunion and things like that. So when you take this list, though, I had a note on here that I wanted to make sure I talked to you about. What are, like, when you're doing that, what is the headline and what is the capture, and where is that capture going, so that you know that if you're doing it out there, you're getting it. Know how do you know where the customer is, and how do you meet them there? So again, everybody's hanging out on social media, so it is open to the masses on social media. But how do you communicate your value proposition? Now we got to go back all the way back to the second or third week we started this, 10, 11 weeks ago. Did you come up with your value proposition? What are the 3 things that you do that your competitor cannot say you do? And when you can translate that into some of your messages, right? So for example, I'll give you how do you communicate your value proposition? In a network group, one of the value proposition is, guys, realtors are not created equal. When you refer people to me, there's a sale that we just had where the house sold for $10,000 over asking price. And we had already taken an offer for less. We knew it was probably going to cancel. We called I call every single person that had looked at the house prior when it's coming back on the market. And then I create a sense of urgency. But when somebody says there's an offer coming in, even if it's from an investor that's a low ball, if I'm representing your referral and they're a seller, and I say, I know an offer's coming in, I've let everybody know to create a sense of urgency. And this sounds simple, but not everybody does it. I let them all know, hey, just so in case you have not sold that buyer a house yet, which that's working super well in a market like this, because out of 10 buyers, only 2 of them are getting a house. So the other 8 are still out there. It's like, if your buyer had any chance that they might want a shot at this, I've got we already just made it live again today. We already got an offer coming in, and boom, drummed up a second offer. So I had 2 offers. One went, and the second one came in 10,000 over asking to make sure they got it. And we were already ready to accept the one that came in at full price. Seller was thrilled to get full price. I said, hold on, we got one more coming in, and they went over to make sure they didn't miss out. But that was being very on purpose. So my value proposition in front of my network group, I have to, their call to action is, do not let people casually just call somebody. You guys have to fight and say, if you are ever thinking about doing real estate, you have to call Brad. So those kind of things in your message and your value proposition will come out. How can you come from contribution or connect in a meaningful way? And that again is in your message. So you got your headline, your call to action. Now you can be real creative on how you're giving back, even if it's something local in the community. If you are, it's something for a charity, or maybe you're donating money from every one of your sales to a charity, right? So you post a message that's meaningful and contribution to say, hey, let's do a thing to everybody, post your favorite charity that you would want to give money to, right? And so you can compile a list of 10. Well, by them filling that in and giving their information, you're capturing it and you're plugging into the community, and it allows you to cross-reference, find their name, their address, their phone number, and then pick up the phone and call them and go, oh, you love that charity too? The real estate stuff will come later. And somewhere along the way, you're going to be able to say, so the reason I actually did that is I was creating a list of giving money back from every house that we sell in my client's name. We donate back to your favorite charity. So that's why I was asking that question. But now, oh, really? Heck, we might just have to move for that, right? No. Anyway, you guys get it. So having the message tied to it, how important do you think your branding and aesthetic consistency is in your marketing, and how do you achieve it? So you got to look at that. If you're putting it on different places, are they going to remember you when it happens? And all I'm going to add there is, if you add the human piece back into it, this stuff gets amplified 10 times. They're going to remember your brand more if they've talked to you and they see your face, or they met you face to face, that you see them once or twice a year. I'm telling you, that's when it's going to amplify the results. And then that really, how do you follow up with the leads that generated from your marketing, is those different forms that we were talking about. Any questions so far? Any clarity? Is this a lot of, am I giving you guys too much information on these calls to where your brain swells up and you can't do it? Go ahead. Oh, I thought I heard somebody.
No, I was just going to say everything you're saying is really helpful. My nephew is talking in the background.
That's okay. No, that's cool. We're just having fun, casual conversation here, remember? So nephews in the background are fine. All right. So
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
How do you feel about providing first-time home buyers with like a session, like a first-time home buyer seminar or something in person or Zoom?
I love those things, because it's, find out how to take advantage of the current market. That's like the headline. That's better than just come to a home buyer seminar. Do not use the word seminar, right? Do not do any of that stuff. Find out how to take advantage of the current market conditions when buying real estate or something like that. I don't even know if you need that in there, right? And it's like, click this button to get on our VIP list for Thursday at 10 o'clock. So now that marketing piece, talk about thinking deeply, and it's a buyer seminar, and they're clicking to reserve their spot as a VIP, right? They're getting into command. They're now going on a drip plan that, like, and I always plan this out where it's a week or 2 or 3 weeks out, so I can do marketing around it. In fact, write this down, guys. Have 6, 7, 8 touches around every piece of everything you ever do. If you say buyer seminar, I want you to hear Brad's voice go, and what are the 8 touches around it? Meaning, what's going out 2, 3, 4 days or weeks, but what are the 2, 3 things that go out before, and what are the 2, 3, 4 things that come out after, and the things that come up, because that is how you're going to get most people there too. So not just buyer seminar. How do you take advantage of the current market? Click here to be on our VIP list and be invited to this special session where we discuss all the different ways that you can take advantage of a low inventory market as a buyer, right? And so click here. They click, they go in. Command says, oh, it came from that form. Okay, that's your buyer seminar form, and you're going to be able to use this form for all your buyer seminars, right? So they click on it, it goes in, and the smart plan says start the drip. That now they get an email that says, thanks for registering. We've got you on our list. We'll confirm closer when we get to the date that you still have it on your calendar. I might send something in the mail immediately. This could start a week. Like, let's just say that the seminar is in 3 weeks. So the first thing it's going to go out is confirm they got it. Maybe in 3 or 4 days, we mail them something, and maybe it's a picture of the calendar or something, and it's got our seminar on there, and it's circled, and it says, make sure you get this in your calendar so you don't forget, right? And then they won't get anything for like 4 or 5 days. And then they might get a social media link to what's going to be involved in that seminar, right? So it's not another registration page. They're already registered, so they're past that. Now they're getting stuff that's going to build up the excitement of what's really going to be covered there, right? So even if you're not buying right now, if you find out what's going on in today's market and there's a great investment opportunity for you, we will cover that in this session as well. Because investing, I mean, buying a house, it could be an investment. right? So they still want to come to the home buying seminar because they might decide to be an investor, even though they're not buying. Either way, so that message comes out as a social media link to the event page that you've created that tells them when it is and where it is and all that stuff. And they can post questions or something there. Like whenever you create an event on Facebook, people can ask questions. Like you could have a button there that says, what questions would you want to most have answered at this seminar? Do you see where I'm going with all this stuff? So it's a very on purpose strategic thing that's building up. And then I'm going to scream all the way down the last, there's probably 2 or 3 touches that happen 3 to 4 or 5 days before the event. And that is they get an email reminder. Well, they actually get something in the mail, like a postcard or something, because I got to mail that. So it'll be showing up in their mailbox the day before the event. They get an email the next day that says, make sure, just checking to make sure you have this in your calendar. We are so excited to see you. And anybody who hasn't confirmed, or you give them a phone call, it's just a phone call to call them and go, hey, I know I sent you some reminders and I'm just really looking forward to having you there. Anything, any specific questions you want to make sure we cover in the seminar? Because I want to make sure that I hit those. Now I could do all that at the event, but all of these touches are going to make more people show up. So now I'm back to thinking about this deeply and capturing and converting these to closings. The difference of going from 50 to 1 to 12 to 2 pieces of business for every 12 people, because I'm on purpose about converting them into real estate. We do not make money by them just showing up. So you're going to have more people show up and they're going to be more in tune and there's more value behind it and you're going to close more deals. And if you don't close them at the event, you have created, I mean, can you guys see what you just created in that little example that we just put together there? This, you can do this on everything that you can think of. So coming up with those 6, 7, 8 touches to build that value in that event. We do the same thing with housewarming parties. Housewarming parties were generating 3 buyer sales off every housewarming party we did because we had a housewarming system. Buddy of mine, Michael Mayer, he was at KW. I don't know if he's still at KW or not. He's probably not actively selling. He's in Atlanta, but he wrote the book 7 Levels of Communication. And I just took his housewarming party plan, and it had steps that led up to it. We collected the names to invite their friends to their party, to their house after they closed. It was always 45 days after closing. That's our plan. We're going to host you a party in 45 days. And by the time they got done and they realized, oh my gosh, we got our house all unpacked in record time. And it's because they were having the housewarming party. But we're like building up to this. And then we show up at the housewarming party and we're like put up on a pedestal because we helped them get this new house and everybody loves it. Everybody's eating, having fun, touring the house. And we show up and we usually picked up 3 buyers from every housewarming party. The only time we did, yeah, go ahead.
Can we use that as part of our offer to the buyers, like ahead of time? Like tell them, like if you use me, I'll also like help you do a housewarming party.
Yeah, I mean, that could be one of your value propositions because I don't know too many realtors that do it. I mean, there's not even a handful that I can tell you around here that do it, right? So, awesome. And here's the important part too. When my team didn't follow the system, we quit getting 3 referrals because they weren't doing the follow-ups. They weren't doing the pictures afterward. They weren't always showing up at the parties. We quit doing them because if you're not going to follow the system and get 3 more deals for every housewarming party we do, then there's no reason doing it other than just out of good faith and be nice. But we can still be nice and close 3 deals. You guys see what I'm saying? So just think about that. Everything you do in marketing now, you want to take it to that next level. Wow, we're really covering it. Some heavy duty stuff, you guys.
Just so that you know, I'm going to go back to this video. I'm going to slow it down, take every single step and take you word for word and go from there.
Yeah, you're going to have so much fun. Keep me posted. Add me on your guys' marketing stuff. You know what? I mean, I may be in Kansas City, but the person that puts me on their marketing stuff, if I have something coming to your town, you're the only person I'm going to think of. You've been in the class. We've seen each other's faces, if you were on video or not, or had a picture, and you put me on your drip plan for your buyer seminar that I'm not going to come to, but I love marketing. And I even love more to see somebody that went to a class and put it into action. You are the hot diggity dog for the area. So add me to your guys' stuff, right? So guys, now let's kind of back this back over to command. there is so much in command. I mean, you think, slowing this down. I know when I get going and I talk really fast, that it's just trying to capture it all. That is the purpose why I always make sure we have the recorded video, because hearing it again and a few times and slowing me down actually is the best chance of you making it. I could talk slower and share half of this information and nobody would go back and watch anything and nobody would do anything. So I just know the repetition is the key to get you into action and get more results out of what we're sharing. So this is, again, more for your on time, and you're not going to spend 2-3 hours in on time every day of the week. You need to be on the phone talking to people in that master list at least 2 hours a day. It is the absolute only way I can tell you that you're going to get on a path to sell 100 homes someday, very, very soon. And every day that you do other stuff other than converting that master list and putting conversations and writing notes, you're on that path to do a dozen deals a year. If you work really hard, you're going to work a lot of hours. So do that first. Then 1 hour, 2 or 3 days a week, it's your marketing. It says on, and it just happens to be my marketing stuff because I watched this video a couple times. So I'm going to go into command. I'm going to go look in designs there. I mean, there's so much in there and it's so classy. There's so many things in there with the marketing headlines and the calls to action, and we shouldn't actually be creating anything. It's all in there. Like I said, there's a whole entire homes magazine in there. So just take time to go through and look at the stuff. And what you'll do is, you just skimming through the pages, you're going to find the stuff that's relevant to what your message and what your logo and what your branding is. However, your consistency in your marketing and your branding is probably in those documents already. So definitely make that happen, right? So all I'm showing you here is when you log into command, you go to designs. It's the little paintbrush down there. I'm just kind of taking you through step by step to get you there a little quicker and make you get a little more effective in your first hour. Under designs, there's the different types you can go: email, social, print, video. So they actually give you all the social media. Some of you may already be using some of these things, but just you can go to all types or specific types, and then you create your design if you're doing an email, social, print, video. So it's all in there. And then it pulls up your stuff based on what you've been clicking. And there's just, I mean, this is an open house flyer. There's so many different versions of this open house flyer. I probably wouldn't even put more than 2 seconds into it. I just grab the first one and dump it in and go. Right? So here it is. You're invited. So there's the headline. You're invited, not open house, right? Open house, and it's going to the neighbors. You're invited to this open house at blah, 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 right? So just think about those headlines and the call to action. Things are heating up in Gem Heights. Well, that make really what? Total active for total 26 houses pending. Average price per square foot is 200. These are the things they love, looking at average price. And one other thing I would probably add on this is the highest sale. The highest sale in the neighborhood is this. The average price is this, and the average sale price is this. So you can show those different things, right? It's all in the details. So this is just showing a just listed, just sold, pending cards. Those are all in there, so you can show those. So just create materials using those the designs in command. Last thing you need to do is have expense going out for somebody else to create all this stuff for you. And of course, now you need to figure out what you want your marketing to look like. Is it paid ads? Is it email? Is it direct mail, social post? I'm still one-on-one, phone call, convert, 8x8, 33 touch is pretty much my marketing. I don't really do any marketing to get business outside of that, because the database my phone just rings, right? Because I am their guy. So, but for other marketing, if I'm promoting a listing, that's when I go in and start playing with some of these things and decide what we want to do. And again, even there, when you're talking about, so I listed a lot that has 3 trailers on it. Heck, it can have 4 trailers. So it's like a 1 lot little mini trailer park that this kid owns. So I got to think about who's my specific audience for that. And is it other trailer parks? It's probably duplex owners, triplex owners, right? So I can pull up tax records and see who owns those properties and figure out what our message looks like to that. So anyway, you just want to always think in terms of your marketing, like who are you trying to reach out to and what's that message need to be? And then what's the call to action? I remember once I had a little bar for sale. I actually marketed it to all the other little bars in town because I figured bartenders have regulars. Regulars go to these little bars. Everybody would love to own a bar sometime in their life, for the most part. I won't say everyone, but it is one of those things you're gonna find a lot of people like, man, I'd love to own a bar. That'd be fun, right? So I mailed it to bars and picked up 2 buyers from a bar that was 50 miles away, but they were regulars. And I went to the bar owner, or just went to the bar. So the bartenders saw it. And of course, they're going to talk to their guys about, hey, the Biggie's bar is for sale over in Lexington. It's like, are you kidding? That's how we found the buyer on that one. So just figuring out the marketing that goes with it. So, and again, making paid ads versus social media posts. Obviously, I don't really spend money on a lot of this stuff. I don't buy the banner ads and all that stuff. That's like buying leads. I just rather do my relationship base and get the free business because it doesn't cost anything. It takes a little more time. Got to make calls. But the big commands are big campaigns. I mean, you can end up, there's big teams that are spending $10,000 a month. And that may not seem like much if you got a, if your average commission check is $2 million homes and you're making 30 grand. But if I took that $10,000 and put it into my database, oh my gosh, I couldn't even think about what the return would be on that. A lot more than what they're getting out of that. But you just go into campaigns. It's a little microphone. So you're going to blast out your message. It'll pull up all the different things the week that you're doing your event. So again, you're just going to play with this stuff. Because I mean, this already looks pretty techy here. Entering text and where's my library? Do this in your on time. If you're going to do something with a campaign on an event, just come in there and play with it during your on time and just set up a temporary one. So look at that. I even got us here with a few minutes to go. Oh, there we go. Few minutes to go to open it up for questions. Do you guys have anything specific that's popped in your mind, or like we had the conversation about the buyer seminar, or what are you guys getting out of today too? Share that.
Excuse me, I have a question on the command. I tried to use the template, the listing presentation template to create my own, but somehow I cannot say, I spent like whole night working on it, each page, save it, and somehow I cannot find it. After a few days, I come back and try to look for it. I can't find it. Yeah.
Well, and that is, so you might have to just recreate it again. And this time you're going to pay attention to where it's trying to save it so you can find it again. You probably, and really that's what I mean by on time. Like you just, and it's just like an hour chunk at a time, right? Unless, if I can't sleep one night, I wake up at 2 a.m. and insomnia, I'm really interested in this, I can play with it for a couple hours then. What you don't want to do is do it any time between 10 a.m. and 5 or 6 p.m. That should never be a time you're just getting lost in flyers for 2 or 3 hours. That is too valuable for you to be on the phone talking to people, just seeing how they're doing, writing notes. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Do all that other stuff when you can't talk to people, because we can stay busy in real estate all day long. We can stay busy all day long working real estate, but if we're not talking to people and we're not closing a deal, we are not doing anything for our business. In fact, you're hurting yourself, because eventually some people do that stuff too long and they go broke before they get it going. So do your calls and notes during the day. But I would just, the direct answer on that is there's somebody in your office that is your tech go-to. And if you because I can tell you for a lot of tech stuff I know, and you could call me and I can just close my eyes and not even be there. Go up to the left, third button over, go down 3, click here, there's your flyer. And you'd be like, oh my gosh, how'd you know that? There's somebody in your office that knows that, where it went. So talk to just really, truly, guys, that's what's cool about Keller Williams. We're all here to help each other. Reach out to your tech person, even if you haven't met them before, and say, hey, I'm an agent in the office. I know I haven't even called you before, and I apologize for not getting to know you before I'm needing your help, right? Maybe you should go meet everybody, all your leadership, and write them a note, tell them how thankful you are for everything they do and provide. But anyway, call that tech guy and just say, hey, I created a flyer, don't know where it went, spent 2 hours on it, can't find it. They may or may not be able to find it, and then you just recreate it if you can. But they may know right where it's sitting. I bet you they do. Your command person. Great
Okay.
question.
Thank
ahead.
you.
I also
Well-
wanted to, oh, I'll let Yusuf because I've talked too much.
Oh, you haven't talked too
You
much.
can, you
Go
can,
ahead.
you can go ahead. Okay. I'm confused about this housewarming party.
Okay.
I've never heard of it. Can you explain it a bit more? Like, who do you invite, and where do you like make party and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I'll give you the quick synopsis, but if you go search 7 levels of communication, 7 levels of
Mhm.
communication, or Michael Mayer, there's no reason for me to get too detailed on it because I used his plan. 7 levels of communication is his book. And what he basically talks about in that is how do you create relationships? And his name is Michael Mayer, Maher. He's in the Atlanta area, and I think he's still at KW. Because him and I have not talked for probably about 6 months. We're like best friends, and we haven't talked for 6 months, and we built our whole database on this. So thank you guys for this, because now I got to call Michael and check in on him, see how he's doing. We did some direct messaging back and forth about the Chiefs and some messages and stuff. We always do that, but both of us are on purpose about picking up the phone and just calling, talking to each other. So anyway, just search for Michael Mayer or 7L. I don't know if it's 7L.com or 7 levels of communication.com. If you Google it, you'll find it. It kind of looks like a Mercedes logo. I think he has the housewarming party full thing for free download on his website. Obviously, you fill out a form to get it. He created value. You want my free housewarming party? Yusuf is going, yeah, I want that. Click, and you're giving him your name and address and phone number. You just went into his database. So you're going to get stuff from him about his book and his seminars. That's how this works. It's just like real estate, right? But the gist of it is, when we get a contract with a buyer, we have, leading up to the closing, about a week or two before closing, we send them a thing that says, create a list of the 30 or 40 friends that you would invite to your housewarming party. We need their name, their address, their phone number. So we're going to send out the invites for you. See, they're moving. They don't have time to plan for a party. You don't have them do it. Plus, don't we want the addresses and phone numbers of all their friends and family members, right? Because when we're going to send out the invite, well, at the closing table, if they haven't given us the final list, we get it then. Then we send out the invites and we say it's in 45 days. This is the date. This is the time. And the client's picking that out specifically, but we don't let them push it out 6 months. It's like sometime pretty quick after they get in. When you move in, you're going to get unpacked. If you need help with anything, you let us know. Get everything in place. We're going to have this awesome housewarming party. They're excited. So we send out the invites. And then, just like I said, there's 3 or 4 touches, as there's a way like to register. Their friends register on like Evite or something like that. So once they register, they come off the plan to know about the party coming up. That now they get the one that says you're invited to the party and here's all the fun, cool stuff we're going to do. And they might get a call. They might show up just for a call the day before to confirm that they're going to be there. Just confirming that you're still going to be able to make it over to the Joneses' house for the housewarming party. Yep, we're planning on being there. We're excited because we've built up the value. The other people stay on the other list saying, hey, we haven't heard back from you if you can make it to the Joneses. If you can't make it to the Joneses, like as it gets closer, 2 or 3 days before, it's like, we haven't gotten your reservation. Maybe you can't make it to the party. And usually by then they've already called and said, hey, we're sorry, we can't make it to their party. But look who they're calling. This is all coming back to us. We're creating the two-way conversation with their friends so that we're top of mind when they refer us. It's like a double whammy. Anyway, so we say, you know, okay, well, that's great. They're going to miss seeing you. But I will tell you this, don't forget, they love apple pies and chocolate chip cookies. So if you get a chance to drop those by before you leave or before you can't get there, I'm sure they would appreciate them. See, you guys see what kind of experience we're creating here? Somewhere earlier, we asked them what their favorite dessert was, and they said apple pies and chocolate chip cookies. And so when the same thing, like when they move into a house, we mail to the houses around. You could mail to the houses around and say, welcome your new neighbors, the Joneses. By the way, they love apple pies and chocolate chip cookies, right? So when you got that, if you got that and you're a neighbor and you saw them move in, some of you are going to do it. You're going to run some chocolate chip cookies over there. Now, what we also did somewhere before that, because we know this is our plan, we said, you guys are going to love this neighborhood so much. I bet you they bring you just apple pies and chocolate chip cookies like crazy, right? I mean, and then when it happens, they're just like, we're like Mickey Mouse. We're like magical Mickey Mouse, man. Things are happening and it's all been orchestrated. So anyway, we get the list, we send out the invites, we just have them open their house up. Like they could do it for 4 hours. We show up with food. We usually have a sponsor that pays for the food. Between the lender, the inspector, and us, we all pitch in 30, 40 bucks. We can buy $100, $150 worth of food, do some barbecue, something like that. We let them pay for all the drinks. That way they can do alcohol if they want. We're not responsible. But we show up just for like 15, 20 minutes. We do drawings and giveaways for 3 or 4 items that we bought at Home Depot. We do a guy's gift and a girl's gift. This is just, I say we, but this is Michael's plan. You do a drawing, so everybody collects, you do the drawing, you do the drawing, you're on the pedestal, their friends are telling them, you know, this is who you want to use. And people are coming up to you going, hey, my wife and I were actually going to think about starting to move next month too. We'd love to meet with you because all this is happening. That's where the 3 referrals come from. And then we get out of there and let them just have their party. So, I mean, there was weekends where we would pop by 3 different housewarming parties. And even when we had our buyer's agents, they would stay longer because they really became friends with them. So they would stay at these things longer. But my wife and I, my business partner and I would pop in 2 or 3 of those in a weekend. And it was just like 15 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes. It was so fun, man. You just walk in like you're a superstar. Fun stuff. So guys,
so party's gonna be in the buyer's house, yes?
Yeah, it's their housewarming party to invite their friends to come see their new house. And you're the one that comes to the house.
What if buyer doesn't want that party?
What if they don't want it?
Yeah.
You don't have to do it. I'm not going to make somebody do a party, but we've built it up from the very first time we met them, how awesome it is to invite your friends over. But yeah, if they don't want to do one, we're not going to make them do one. That's why the housewarming party isn't built into our buy a house plan and everybody has to do one. It's a separate plan that runs if they choose to do it. But most people love it. Absolutely love it.
Do you had any incident that buyer said, no, I don't want all that mess?
Say that again.
Like, did you have any incident that your buyer didn't want that party because he didn't want to deal with all that mess, you know, in his house, in his new house?
Oh no, see, that's no. We're already building up that you're going to get unpacked and moved in, and part of that conversation at that time is, trust me, you're going to call me up afterwards and go, thank you for making me do that party. And I say making, we're not making them do it if they don't want to do it. But if they don't want to do it because they're not going to be, their house is going to be messy, that's not going to be a good enough excuse for me. I'm probably going to push one more little try to say how fun it will be to have them come see the house. We're bringing food. You're going to be completely moved into your house. It's not going to take you 6 months or a year to unpack. I'm not going to call you a year from now and you're going to go, yeah, we still got boxes stacked up in the living room. Nobody likes to look at that stuff. So you're going to love it. You're going to love it. And so once they make that commitment, if they will love it, now, if they just are messy people, they're not going to want a housewarming party. Then that's fine.
I think that most people don't have their housewarming just because they don't want to go through the event planning and the setting it up, and us being there and providing value to them by actually getting that out of their way. I really doubt that they would say no, unless it's something, you know, specific, like some people just, they're pretty much not into parties because of religion, or because they're that, you know, like they don't have that many friends, or they just don't want to bother. Well, there will be like the very few, like the exception, but I seriously doubt that people are not going to want to celebrate that special moment.
Yeah. And I know we're going a little bit extra here, but I mean, it's a good conversation. Part of the plan that the smart plan that's running to our buyer that's having the housewarming party, they're getting another plan that's running up to the party, and it's preparing them. Hey, we're 4 weeks out. How you doing? Which something in there is a phone call to trigger to say, how's the move coming? So we're checking in, any surprises in the house. So we're doing a lot of things with this plan, and it's creating this awesome experience that, man, they check in. I mean, we have a what is it, the day after we drop off something for them, like a basket of fruit. We have a 3-day, I think it's a 3-day, I don't think it's 60 and 90 days, but it's like 30 days and 90 days, just to check in and see if there were any surprises in the house. That's built into our plan. It's a lot of times my assistants are making that call. That's why I don't know exactly which day it is, but they're just calling and say, hey, any surprises, anything going on? And if they said something like, oh, the hot water heater, blah, 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 I had to call the warranty company. Well, we've done this where we've called the day after or 3 days after they moved in, and they had to call into the warranty company and get something fixed on the hot water heater. So they were out their deductible, yeah, that $100. Now, keep in mind, this wasn't even our client. It was the person that bought our listing, and we follow up with them. We dig up their number somewhere and we call them, say, hey, how's your house doing? Their agent hasn't even called in and checked in on them since they sold it. And I remember one time I was sitting there listening to my assistant, and the lady said something with the hot water heater. I had to turn something into warranty company. And she knew to say, well, we hate that happens. We want you to love that house. You had to pay the deductible. Yeah, it was like $100. Do you mind if we just send you $100 Home Depot gift card? Like, why would you do that? You weren't even my realtor. That's not what she said. That's what she thought. I could hear it through the phone. She's like, oh my gosh, you would do that? It's like, no, it's already done. I'm just letting you know it's coming. We want you to enjoy the home. So we're out $100. It wasn't even our client, but what do we own that client forever, right? Because they're never gonna ever get away from us. They're in our drip plan. So it builds our clients up to, okay, we're 2 weeks out. So part of that might be, if you're having trouble getting stuff hung up or getting some knick-knack things done, we can send our handyman over for you and get you ready. They can unpack the rest of this, help move some boxes. I mean, we have so many affiliates and people to help. We can do all kinds of stuff, but that never happened in all my years doing a housewarming party. They were always ready. Good stuff. So good. I'm glad I got your brain thinking. Everything you do marketing, which is how do you capture them, get their information back to you so you can ultimately pick up the phone and call them and get them on a true 8x8 and really convert them into business. I guess before I go, Elizabeth, did you have anything else you wanted to ask? I know, no. Okay, cool. All right, guys, this is a pretty powerful call, man. I'm loving life again. I mean, I love life, hanging out with you guys all the time, but thanks for a great call.
Thank you so much.
What you said. Thank you,
I
Brad.
have so many notes.
Thank you, Brad.
Yes. Okay, guys, go do the survey and blow it up. Let the leadership know that you just absolutely love this class. Thanks.